Facebook Live. I'm so excited today. I'm Ashley Speaker from Corporate College, and I'm joined with Kristen Broca, our Director of Marketing Integration here at Tri-C. So thank you so much for being with us today.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
Yay.
Glad to be able to talk about marketing.
Awesome. Well, this is just going to be a great conversation. Especially, we're doing Facebook Live because of marketing. Everyone has an interest in marketing, whether you're selling something, promoting an event, but also, just looking at it as a career as well. It's a really fast-changing industry always.
Yes.
And I'd love to dig into some of that with you today.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, so for starters, could you just walk us through a little bit of your career path and your journey into the marketing field? Because I don't think that looks the same for everyone, right?
It does not, no. I'm a great example of someone who did not start in marketing. My undergrad, I was an English literature major. I focused on Shakespearean tragedy.
Wow.
After college, I was a paralegal for 5 years, where I was, using my research and writing skills for paralegal. I ended up getting a position as an administrative assistant in our college's marketing department at the time, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So from there, I continued my education. I got a master's degree in communications.
Wow.
Progressively moved up in the marketing department over the years. It's been 17 years now since I've been in the department, almost 18. So it's been an interesting career trajectory, but you never know. And but now that I'm in it, I love it, and I never really want to leave it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love that you spoke about, you started as an English major, paralegal, administrative assistant, and the light bulb went off. This is a really cool place to be.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm sure you found that even though you didn't originally study marketing or that wasn't originally what you wanted to go into, you probably had some skills that really helped you along the way, skills that you think are good for individuals that are interested in this field?
Absolutely. There's a lot of soft skills are needed, which you can learn in any, especially liberal arts education. You learn those soft skills. You learn interpersonal communication, written communication, oral communication. Another skill that you need in marketing, you have to have a strong business acumen. Not necessarily a business mind or numbers. We like to joke in our department that numbers are hard, but you have to have that business acumen and that mindset to kind of understand the business world. Negotiating, pitching, ideas. You need to be able to have those communication skills and those negotiation skills under your belt. Some other things probably also. Some of those soft skills that are needed, teamwork obviously is huge. You have to be able to be a team player. Most company marketing departments are big, and you're working across various areas of the department with lots of different people, so you have to be a team player. And organizational skills and project management skills are really important. You have so many moving pieces in a marketing plan and in a marketing campaign. You have to be able to keep everything organized, know where it's at, when it's due, who's working on it, where it's going, when it went, and then the follow-up for analyzing the data and looking at it and keeping everything on track and moving. So organizational skills and project management skills are really important. I think also one that we tend to overlook a lot, because our field is very fast-paced, is stress management. You need to know how to let go and how to slow down. We work in a very fast-paced field, and sometimes you just have to take a breather. So, stress management is really a skill that you need in the marketing world, as well as any business world. So,
yeah. How far into your career do you think you were before you realized that piece of it too?
I was probably about halfway in.
Okay.
Probably when I got to a managerial level where I was managing people. The workload at that point, it amps up because you have your own workload, and then you have to manage your employees' workloads and kind of keep track of where they are with things, intervene on their behalf, work through things. So I think once I got to the managerial level is really when that stress kind of started to amp up, because it was like, okay, this is no longer a 9 to 5. I have other things besides my actual job description that I have to do.
Yeah.
So.
It is kind of crazy when you go from, okay, this is my one thing I do in my role, and then all of a sudden you have all these other people that you really have to care about and make sure they're also on task and doing their jobs, but
Absolutely.
managing all of that.
Yeah. So stress management is super important.
Do you think that was one of the toughest things in a marketing career? Or is there other things that you think are really tough when you're in that field?
I think, the marketing world is a tough world. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on, and I think one of the toughest things with being in marketing is it's time management, and just the ever-changing landscape of marketing. You know, it changes every day. Every day something's different when you wake up. Mm-hmm. A new law went into effect. A new regulation started. Facebook changed their algorithm. Something happens every day. Right. So, you know, there's that, the ever-changing landscape. The time management is huge because, you know, like I mentioned, it is so fast-paced, but we tend to want to jump from project to project to project. Mm-hmm. But we need to take the time now that, you know, data now plays such a huge role in marketing that you have to actually take the time to step back and look at the data as your campaigns are running. You need to know what's working, what's not working, adjust accordingly, whether it's rewriting a headline for a social media ad or rewriting a post or,
Can you do that like partially through a campaign, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's the thing is, you know, oftentimes, you know, historically a lot of times we would launch a marketing campaign and that was it. It would launch. And then it would end and we would look at the results and see how many leads we got. But now it's different. Now everything has changed in the marketing world. So you have to follow your campaigns and look at your data regularly so that you can adjust as needed. So, you know, finding the time to do that and actually scheduling the time to do that is a challenge. And I think that's one of the toughest things. And, you know, the ever-changing landscape, you know, there's always a new trend. Every year, you know, the end of December of this year, you'll see tons of articles out there about the latest trends for 2021 in marketing and social media. And those are great, but you have to actually also listen to trends outside of the marketing world.
Okay, interesting.
Because a lot of things impact marketing that we don't even think about. You know, one example is 5G. You know, 5G's here. And what is that? It's 5th generation. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means our cell phones and our wireless are going to be 10 times faster than what they are at 4G. So from a marketer's perspective, that means your websites need to be optimized. That means video will play a huge role. You know, in the 5G world, there's no buffering for videos. It's just immediate. But if you're going to be, you know, implementing video in your marketing, you need to flip the script. And it's almost like thinking, like with Instagram, that call to action, that hook needs to be right at the beginning to keep someone interested to watch that video or to look at your Instagram post or to flip through so that they don't just keep scrolling. So, you know, that ever-changing landscape outside of marketing is something that you always have to keep a pulse to, you know.
So I think that's really interesting what you touched on about that, because what I'm hearing is it takes a lot of planning, a lot of thinking, and a lot of research before we post that 3-second post or that, you know, 1-minute video, that you have to kind of have an idea of how it's going to be utilized, how it's going to be viewed, and like those hooks and different things, where we're in such like a fast-paced world of like, oh, I've got to get this up right now, like, you know, whatever I'm at, like I've got to post this right this second, where you're talking more about the long term, like how is this post going to impact people, and is it really working? And we have to stop and think about that.
We do. It's, you know, social media especially is just, all of marketing is strategic. And like you said, sometimes with social media, we think, oh, we just write a post and we post it and people will see it. And it's so much more than that, you know. One of the biggest changes that has come in marketing has to content marketing. You know, it kind of started coming about in the late 90s, and it's here now. Like, content marketing is a shift in how we do things. So really what we're doing is we're shifting that focus from, you know, the one-size-fits-all message to very personalized, strategic, targeted messaging. Okay. So when you're talking about social media, you need to think that through. You know, who's your audience? What's that headline going to look like? When's the best time to post it? When are people going to see it? You know, and engagement is huge. You want people to engage with your post. You know, liking it is no longer a metric. Like people like stuff, but great, you like it.
Yeah, my mom liked it last week. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. But we need that engagement to get people involved. So, you know, social media specifically really it's strategic, and there's a lot behind it that people need to think through. And you know, yes, sometimes we are going to post that quick post because we might be at an event and see something and like, this would be cool to share.
Yeah.
And it's timely. That's one of the nice things with social media is that you can do that and you can share something in a very timely fashion. But more of those strategic actual marketing and advertising messages, they have to be and should be planned out. So,
Yeah. Wow. So that's, I mean, I think we covered a lot as far as looking at, these tough things, but also, I'm very interested too what you love about marketing. Like, what's fun for you in it? Why have you stayed in it?
Honestly, I think it's the same. It's the ever-changing landscape. I mean, it makes it exciting. It's constant learning. It's constant education. You have to stay abreast of what's current and what's working and what's not working and what's happening in the marketing world and outside of the marketing world. So I personally am a huge advocate of continuing education. So I am always looking for ways to further my knowledge, whether it be through going back to grad school or webinars or white papers or you name it, watching a LinkedIn Learning video, a HubSpot video, getting Google certified, whatever it may be. That's what makes it exciting, is that there's so much to learn and it's never ending because it is constantly changing. Like you said, Facebook changes their algorithms daily. So when I wake up in the morning and try to figure out what Facebook did, that's education and it's learning. So to me, that's what makes it really exciting, is that knowing that I have that opportunity to continually learn new skills. So.
That's really awesome. Do you have any suggestions for places to go to seek out, additional education opportunities? There's definitely a lot of, online resources, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of institutions out there. Sometimes there's bad advice out there when you're
There
trying to
is.
stay updated.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you sort through all the noise?
A lot of it is just looking for, sometimes the big players are a great place to start. Like I mentioned, LinkedIn Learning, it's a great place. They acquired all of the lynda.com videos. So it's an established, well-known, big company that has videos. Think with Google. They're Google. They're the Google.
Yeah, right.
Right? So
they own the internet, kind of.
Yeah, they do. We go to the Google to look for things.
Yeah.
So Think with Google is a great place. HubSpot, even though HubSpot really, the company itself is focused on their product, they do offer so much content out there just to learn about different areas of digital marketing and content marketing. And then there's obviously, there's formal education. You could go get an associate degree or a bachelor's degree or a master's degree in various areas of marketing or digital marketing or communications. And then obviously places like corporate college here, reputable organizations that offer professional training.
I wasn't asking for a plug,
No,
but
it's
I'm
not a
glad
plug.
she mentioned it. So we talked a little bit about, that content marketing piece as
Yes.
well, and, thinking about, how much marketing has evolved, right? We think about print marketing, which is kind of, that standard decades ago, and then, the move towards television, and now the internet, and social media, and now apps, and, the way they can really target us using algorithms. How have you seen that change over your career?
In the 17 years that I've been in marketing, it has been a huge shift. I mentioned content marketing and that shift from the one-size-fits-all to the personalized niche targeting, which is true. I mean, and, with the 5G coming on, it's really going to even shift marketing to a mobile-first avenue. We've made the shift from print to web. For the past many years, we've been saying it's web first, whether it's for design or for writing or for whatever, it's always been web first. Now with 5G, it's going to be mobile first.
Oh, wow.
Because people are going to use their phones much more because it's going to be so much faster and give them that instant gratification so much faster than it could on a desktop. So, that shift alone, we went from a monitor on a desktop or a laptop to a tablet, and now we're going mobile. So that affects marketing in so many ways because it affects the design. You want to make sure it looks good on mobile, that it's readable. It affects the actual content. You don't need a lot of words when it's on mobile. The Internet of Things is a whole nother area where, will affect marketing as well, and content marketing, and, how will something look on my mobile phone versus my Apple Watch versus something I have in my house that's telling me that it's time to cook dinner, whatever it is. So there's just so many things, and that shift from the one message for all to the very targeted personalized messaging has really been a major shift.
Yeah. Do you feel like their marketing departments then have kind of become less about that manager and the graphic designer and slash creative, and more about, kind of spreading even wider with, like, you need web developers, you need IT people that also understand, but then there's so many other pieces to that.
There are, and a lot of it too, and that's actually where a lot of marketing departments right now do struggle, because so many marketing departments have very traditional, like, creative department, communications side, marketing side, and that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, there are jobs and job descriptions in marketing departments that didn't exist 5 years ago.
Wow.
Social media managers weren't around 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But the skills a social media manager needs encompasses all of those areas. They need to be able to create designs to make images for social. They need to be writers so that they can write catchy headlines and catchy posts. They need to be brand managers because they are putting your brand out there. So they need to monitor that. They need to be PR practitioners because they need to engage and respond to people's comments and posts. So the skill set needed for a social media manager is well beyond, what we immediately think of. They also have to be data analysts because they have to look at the data, see what's working. So, those silos in those traditional marketing departments really, they are going away. And that is a challenge right now because so many are still structured in the traditional way and no one really knows how to create that. So everyone's working through that right now is how do we shift job roles to accommodate the shift in the marketing world.
Yeah, and it's really huge because we so often see a lag, especially with, bureaucracies and organizations and different things where the markets maybe change, but the structure hasn't,
Right.
Felt that. So, we're starting to run down on time today,
Yes.
but I did want to ask you, about advice for someone looking to go into this career. Maybe they heard what you said and they're like, what, this might be something I want to do. What would you suggest for taking your career to the next level if you're already in marketing, or maybe if you're looking to get into it?
I mentioned earlier, if you're looking to get into it, a formal education probably would be the best path to get into marketing, whether it be going for an associate degree, bachelor's degree. If you're already out there in the career world and want to make that shift into marketing, it really is the continuing education, and it's, going online and looking for various opportunities to learn and get certified. You can get certified in digital marketing. You can get certified in various areas. So I think it really is the continuing education aspect that you have to do to get into marketing, but then also once you're in it, you have to continue as well. You can't stop educating. Yeah.
I love the term intellectually alive, and I think it applies to this career so much, of just being able and willing and thirsty to seek more out, to understand more and learn more about this career.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the marketing career is fast-paced, so if you like a fast-paced, ever-changing, daily world where continuing your education is something that you love to do, then marketing is definitely the arena for you. So
yeah, that's awesome. I feel so informed and enlightened about
good,
digital
I'm glad.
marketing. So I really want to say thank you for coming out today to have this discussion. You made so many valuable points, and I think anyone who listens to this will, learn a lot more about marketing. I definitely, sent it out to my husband to watch. He actually works in marketing because I think maybe he'll pick up a thing or two.
Awesome.
But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Kristen, for being here.
Thank you.
If you want to learn more about the marketing programs that we offer here at Corporate College, there is a link in the description. And thanks for tuning in.
Bye.